Hey everyone. So I hope you guys are doing okay. And I realized something. So I'm pretty sure some of you are freaking out going, where do I post? Where do I post? Where do I post? Where do I post? And I put it in, as you can see, I put it into the gradebook, but I didn't make it an assessment. So, yay to that, all right? So let's see if you guys just went ahead and posted everything onto the discussion board. Wait, what am I on? Ah, no. So do you guys want me to post? Seems like most of you just went ahead and posted it into the discussion board. So I mean, that's perfectly fine. There's no problems with that. My bad. My bad. Like, I can still, like, I'm kind of bummed about that it's not in the assessment. So I think what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna actually post it. No, you know what? This is fine. Never mind. This is fine. All right, we're just gonna look through this. Yeah. Pretty big bummer on my part, because I put it, as you can see, right? Full grade center. It's all right there. Why are you having problems sending the... How did you do it? Did you film it or did you do a PDF? And did you do it at full, like, 300 DPI, or did you shrink it down a little bit? So, but as far as the whole grade book, all this does is make it hard for me in the end. So, submitted on the discussion board. Submitted on the discussion board. So sketchbooks on the discussion board. All right, just submit everything on the discussion board. Yes, PDF, and you know you still got time for that. So that the sketchbook is, you still got time. I tried to do a video, it won't let me send it. Of course not. It's huge. You got to post it on. You got to post it on YouTube or Vimeo or some type of video thing where you can just put a link. You can't put a video on there, it's too big. Sketchbooks, hey, tell me, okay. Soldier and style. So we're gonna start with Josephine. Can you please put your stuff in a PDF because JPEG won't load? I think that's the last one. We looked at that one last time. All right. While we're still putting stuff, like I'm not gonna look at your sketchbooks online. I'm just gonna do that on my own. Go ahead and download this. Why'd you put everything on one page? Brownie, make sure you close the door upstairs. Hold on. I'm going to be right back. Hold on. While that's loading. Let's see. Wait. We want this, this, and this. Sorry. Said saving trees. Saving trees is going to make it hard. In this instance, it's going to make it really hard because you're cramming stuff in, right? And look. So, it's just, you know, if you give yourself more space, look at this. I mean, this guy's not lined up at all. Wait, is that the... Okay, so this person's the main character. And this is the sidekick. Okay, so we'll start with this one. But look, when you get so small, so tiny, right? This is why we needed it on paper, unless of course you were out and you couldn't buy any. But the thing is that, you know, look at how pixelated this picture is. You can't really give it a full-on critique because it's too pixelated and it's too tiny. But once again, you got to use that ruler, Jasmine, right? Because your character's not lining up. That's one of the keys to doing character design turnarounds, you know, is making sure that it lines up. And your turnaround is not lining up at all. Okay? And by not being able to see the face, like I can't tell if the eyes or face or whatnot is lining up. I just can't. And this was the coffee guy, right? And this is not this is not necessarily how that is supposed to go. I mean, I guess, but we really needed to see. Oh no, it's upstairs. But we really needed to see the actual shape. Right? So here we were looking for shape. Right? And then it's what kind of shape is this person? Right? This allows us to fully understand what shapes we're supposed to be using. Right? That's what's supposed to go there. And this is supposed to, you know, you're just real quick. Bam. Foot. Right? This is, okay, so we start off, starts like that. Then you build up the shapes, which are normal. You know, then we go, this is what this character looks like as an actual put together human. Right? You're no longer drawing basic shapes, you're actually drawing what the human form, what this person's human form would look like. right? And then you'd put the clothes on, right? You just want to show them how to build it up. This one's not that bad. Oh, hold on, let me see if you gave us anything to... All right, so the problem I'm having is that you're in and out character, right? Yeah, I found some different music. With this character here, we don't actually get to see him. Like, you didn't draw him in this assassin look get up, right? So we don't know who that is. And you got to watch your anatomy a little bit. Right? That would actually come out further. Head would probably be back down here a little bit. Alright, facial expressions. You gotta try and stay consistent, right? Because as you're turning him, his face changes, right? And it's not supposed to do that, right? If you just... right? You see the different shapes? And then this one actually needs to come up. And this one, it's just like... This one's drastically different. This one has a round chin. Okay. This one has a square chin. Right? This one... And even though if you're trying to elongate the figure like that, it would still have the same shape, right? You're just like these are all different face shapes. It's more like you were exploring which head would work. Okay. So yeah, you gotta nail that head shape. And the application of your color, like with your sidekick here. And I know you're trying to save trees and whatnot, but by putting this with this, it's two different sheets, right? These are two different characters. You would be giving this to someone else, right? So shouldn't mix your characters like that. Not on the character sheets. But these ones kind of build, from what I can tell, a little bit better. Right, but once again, you got this very wide face and then this narrow face, right? This one makes sense because I believe that it fits with that wide face. Even this one, I'll buy, but this one right here is a different character because of his head shape. Okay. And then, I don't know if it's you copying. I mean, not copying, but taking the picture. But there are places where things are getting cut off. So, like I said, I don't know if that's on the paper or if that's just the way it is. So, you gotta watch that. And his head is constantly changing shape. Sorry. This way. Nope. This way. Sorry. There you go, buddy. There you go. Okay. Like, if you look at this head, look at that head. versus this head, right? So, no, buddy, not this day.
Why?
Critique day. Critique day. I was struggling with the head bit. Yeah, I mean, this is where your sketchbook would have came into big help, right? Because you could have just, all right, here, shape, right? Or I can go, nope, I want it to be more like this shape, and you draw your face in there. Or I want it to be, you know, flat at the top, and then it rounds itself off like that, you know. And then as you turn it, right, you can be like, all right, still got to give that flat sense up top, right? And then you could put your nose in there, right? See what I'm saying? The head's killing you right now because we just don't. It constantly is a different person as far as the head goes. And I mean, this is a really cool. I cannot help you. Like, this is a really cool pose. Like, I like this one. But I just wish that your layout was better. Like, you just try to smush everything onto like 3 pages, and you're combining characters. You're doing this person. I don't even know who that is, right? And like I said, if you were going to do something new, like a different character, you had to actually give us a whole turnaround, because I don't know who this is. Right? It's just a extra character, because everything you've shown us thus far is this guy, this one right here. So who's that guy, right? And by stuffing compressing everything, 2 characters into 3 pages, we just don't, it's just like, I don't know who this is. You're just throwing characters at us, and it's not making any sense. And you have to line it up. Like, this is important, right? That's why in the first one we're like, look, you got to use this many pages. This has to be separate. This has to be separate. And I think you did this last time too, and I even mentioned it then, that you can't do that, right? Because we got to make sure that we see everything. It allows you to have enough space. This weapon, these facial expressions, the action poses, the turnaround, it gives you space. The bigger you draw, the more space you have, right? To make sure that everything is right. So, Brownie. Shh. So, and if we had it a little, if you had them on separate sheets, they'd be bigger and we could actually see them. Because it's just really hard to. Yeah, the last one. I mean, I assumed the last one was him as an assassin, but you didn't give us anything that allowed us to know that. In the, like, you didn't do this turnaround and then have another front or another turnaround going, this is him, or have him without the hood on, or remember with the style sheet, which you are missing. The style sheet, which goes, here's everything you need to know about this character. Here's the information. Here's the little stuff. You could have drew him. Then you could have drew this character on the side and wrote in there, it's like, hey, this is the character's alternative costume. When drawing this person, he has this red mask. He has this knife. He does this. Normally he's doing this, and he has his favorite cup of joe. Like, that would have been a great spot to tie all this in, but you're missing the style sheet. Right? Like, because you took this part, this, right? And you're like, yeah, that was the part of the style sheet. It's like, yes, that is the how to draw part of the style sheet, but then you didn't give us any of the extra information, which is also needed. Come here. You want it back on? Hold on. Stop leaning backwards. It won't fall off your head. There you go. Alright. So, there you go. Do you have any questions about what I was saying? Please load all the way through this time. All right, the Carolina Panthers. So this is the last one in Stefan's, right? This is the last one in his design package. Let's see what he's got. Oh no! No! Okay. I was hoping that we could look at it, but we're gonna have to download it first. Alright, here we go. Carolina Panthers. Concept of the NFL franchise, Carolina Panthers. Okay. That looks way better. That looks way better than the one you had before. Although I think without the extra separation of the whites that you had in the first design, it kind of looks like a wolf. Almost like a werewolf, a little bit. You might have too many fur lines. Okay. Slick put together. Would have liked to see a little bit blue on this pencil though. Nobody wants to just get a plain white pencil. You know, you could have put something on here. Would have been nice. Also with this, I mean, yeah, this is nice. It's easy and quick, but it would have been nice to have like a watermark or some of the stuff that you have going on here in this corner. Right? Kind of wish you would have done something a little bit more elaborate with the helmet instead of just sticking it on there. Like, you know what I mean? Like you had the ability to do whatever you want. And I know you're like, oh well, I'm trying to keep it in with the already established football teams and stuff like that. Like I get that, but the thing is that you could have, at least on the helmet, right? You could have experimented, because sometimes they have some really interesting helmets. You know, when they're like, hey, we're gonna do this, or like I don't know, like the turkey bowl or something like that. You know. And so I think you could have went out and been like, hey, look, here's a different way to present these helmets. It just seems a bit plain. I mean, if you're going to go out there and change everything, might as well go ahead and change it. Brownie, stop pushing buttons. Play on that one. The one that's already up, the other one's already running. Is keep pounding, is that a thing from the Panthers? Is that what they say? Also with the shirt, I mean, I know that this is the way it is, you know, they slap the logo on there and it's like, bam, you know, this is the thing. Okay, so keep pounding is their thing. But You could have gave us a logo here. You know, in the Hawaii one, you gave us a little, you know, you started thinking more illustrative, and you were giving us some really cool stuff with the shirts and stuff. This is base, right? Base, run of the mill. And the reason why I'm harping on these little things, because look, this is real slick. It looks nice. It's well put together. You know, everything is good here. It's a nice little quick presentation. If you're going to be like, hey, I had an idea about changing the logo of the Panthers, and I was wondering, right, if you'd be interested. You can see this thing and be like, oh, that's kind of cool, right? You got a nice presentation here. Absolutely fantastic. But now you need to step it to that next level, right? You want to make sure that you stand out above other people who can put this together, right? So you got to pay attention or push it just a little bit further, okay? Like, you could have made an interesting football instead of making it just blue, right? You could have made it this blue, black, and gray, gave it a nice design, made the logo really big so it covers the whole thing or something like that. You know, I think that you just need to push that a little bit further. Let your creativity shine. I know you've got it, so let's see it. Let's see. Did you change anything with the Centaurs, the Vipers, or the Hawaii packet? I'm only asking, is like, do we have to go through it? I mean, because it's in the discussion board, so everyone should look at it. But if it's pretty much all the same, then I still have those. Just for the sake of time, you know, because we got a lot to go through. Ran out of time. Okay. Nothing wrong with that, because they were good too. Once again, just nitpicking stuff that you could fix later on. Alright. Attached to my friend. I probably won't be in chat tomorrow because my internet has been, yeah, I heard. Anita, are you here? Anita's PowerPoint is huge. Yeah, I was told that Anita was having problems with her internet. Apparently they took it away. It was supposed to come back at like noon today, which we all know when the internet or the phone company or the electric company, the gas company, anytime they say it's going to be done at noon, it means that it's going to be done at like 7. So while that's loading up, we'll go to the next one. Brownie. She's in class. I'm sorry. Nobody can help you right now. Everyone's in class. Just one. All right, so she went full on presentation. Putting the stress strong. I like the presentation, how it's put together. I still like this one. I like this one a lot. The sepia tones and stuff. I'd actually like to see more of her sepia tone stuff. Like all of this turned into sepia. Whoops. This one was really good too. Just a really nice put together presentation. So all you guys can go look at Josephine's descriptions, because it's more like a magazine shoot, right? Here's a little information that would go with it. Alright, so make it just a little bit smaller so we can see them. Ah, we got multiple pictures of each one. Okay. See, this makes a lot more sense if you're doing like here's my person, I'm talking to them, and talking about them, kind of photo shoot type deal where you give us the information like this is meet the artist or something like that. Yeah. I still like I said, if you're trying to make it so that there's that, right, without a border or anything, you have to try and knock out this background stuff so that they can place it wherever they want. Like you come in here, cut out this square, right, so that it still has these shades and colors in there, right? So it's like here's him, but then they could put this, right? You'd come in and cut all this out, so the rest of this was all white, and then they could put it down, and then they can, you know, contour their text towards his shape. But yeah, I like these. I mean, these are great. I mean, these two, because of the bluish background, makes it definitely look like a high school photo shoot. Well, you don't want that, right? The white background definitely makes it look more professional. And like I said, you still need to knock out that background. But your colors are nice. I think we lose him a little bit here. Like this is starting to get too dark in comparison to all these very light ones that you have. This one really is too dark. Would be nice to have some definition. You see how these little folds here? Would have been nice to get some definition here so it doesn't just look like a black cutout. I think that's going to be true for all yours. Like this is just a black cutout, right? You got to come back in here and give us some of these shapes that are inside these pants, just so that we can be like, oh, okay, those are pants and not a black cutout. I think her pictures are very energetic, right? Like if this is attached to a story and you're just like, oh man, I really want to know about this person, these are great. Still, you see how this is all just one big black void? Right? You need to get some definition back up into those pants. Oh, no, these, I think with the blue, since his blue jeans are so strong, right, and commanding so much color, you really got to take care of these, this bluish background, especially since, like, you know, these high heels that he's got going on, right, they're also got this nice bluish shimmer, and it kind of loses all its power, and it kind of blends into the background. Like that's something I know I'd want to highlight if I had that. Now I have to say, you know, most of it is you got to work on the contrast. Make sure that you have those colors in and out, those shapes, so that we can actually see what's going on. And then you have to knock out this background. For the thing that you're trying to do, you have to knock out that background, or you're going to have to try and do something deliberate with the background, right? Because right now it's more of a hindrance than it is helping you. So I would make sure that you do something with this background, especially when you're doing it in this blue, right? Because it's commanding so much attention. So you're going to want to make sure that it doesn't. Okay? It's where either the contrast is going to come in, or you painstakingly take it out. Your choice. Good job, though. And I do like them with the multiple pictures. Having them by themselves, they weren't strong. You're right. They were just by themselves, and you're like, I don't know what's going on here. Seems kind of poopy. But putting them together, giving us a little description, that really does help. And I think the set really pushes it over the top, making it one cohesive set, right? So that makes it look good. So I'm glad that you were able to put multiple pictures together. Final character, Ashley. I had a hard time with these characters. Oh, you didn't put them... Oh, come on now. You didn't put them in as one PDF? Please tell me that this one where it says Final Character 1. Or is this the first one? Come on. We talked about this. PDF, you got like 1 trillion things here. Put them in as a PDF. What are you doing? One PDF. No, that we didn't need. Alright. I don't know if they're in any type of order either. I had a hard time. But if you... I understand that. But if you had all the images, all you had to do was select them, right click, make PDF. Alright? Seems like you ran out of time. Somehow. Because these are all very loose sketches. So far. You gotta watch how you draw this person, because you have this eyes, right? These eyes which are lined up, like, right? I mean, they're straight across, but then when we come further down, they become round, and this becomes a younger character instantly, right? Well, you wanted it to be finished, right? These don't... I mean, you have it as a red pencil, and there's still marks here and stuff, you know, scribbles where you're trying to find the line. Right? Here. It's more or less a thing of, if you were going to do everything in red, that would have been fine. You still would have had to clean it up so that it didn't look like a sketch. Character's not lining. The character's not lining up. Look at how far this hand is. Same with the pants. Got to keep those consistent. I mean, and look, it's I mean, especially when you put it next to this looks like a sketch, right? You're just like, and you're still trying to find the line. Okay, scribble, scribble, and I can tell it's a sketch because you have lines going through the hands, right? This stuff is erased. It's not there. You're gonna have to watch when you turn his head. Right? He's got a very high jawbone, and so you got to make sure you get that jawbone in there, otherwise it becomes a different character. Especially when he looks so thin here, the jaw wouldn't actually come as far out as it goes up. This line would actually go behind this arm, right? This line would actually come in front of his face. There would be wheels at the bottom of this. This is why I know these are sketches.
Excellent.
Right? So you know, I don't know what happened. I don't know why it was so I don't know what's going on, right? I don't know why this character was so hard for you, because we had a long time to do it, right? This looks interesting. The issue that I'm having with this kind of style that you have going on is that your outline is too close of an orange. Like, the outlines that you have used are too close or too similar in saturation and color that it just blends out, so that when we look at it like this, it just looks like very basic shapes, right? But you have an outline. So if you're going to do an outline, you either need to make it black, or you make it a strong enough change between this color and the outline color so that we can actually see it. Okay? And the one thing about this guy, right? You need to watch, because especially here, right? You need to come in and do more angles, right? Especially in the lips, because he's pushing on going towards feminine. Okay? So you want to watch how you draw this character, because I know you're like, oh, well, he's black, he's got big lips. That's fine. But when you make them nice and round, when you have the big dip and their round, voluptuous lips, then we push that more towards woman. Okay, so you got to watch that. So, I mean, I have to say, it's just like looks like you ran out of time. Right? Time management on this one did not come through as well like your first one. And your style sheet is also just this. Could, you know, if there was more information, like he only has one hoop earring, that's something you would tell us. You know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tufts, no matter what. Like, the information we need for this character would go into that style sheet. That's what's important, right? Otherwise, there's no need for the style sheet. You're still trying to tell us how to make the character. Yep. I just wish that these were not sketches, you know? Because then you would have time to line it up, all kinds of, you know, do the thing right. These are just sketches. And there's no need to delineate the crotch, right? None. And then hopefully there would be a little bit more of a butt here, and it wouldn't come up into a triangle like that. It's just weird, like it's so tight it goes into every crevice. But yeah. Just saying. 8 weeks. I know we hit something. I know that we hit, you know, some bad times with this pandemic, but you had this assignment before that happened. So I hope that everything is okay with you and your family to where, you know, something didn't actually impact this and you just didn't tell me. But yeah. Character. Well, no, it's not going to do that, so we're going to save it. Tiny. It's like, ooh, tiny. Or it's really, really big. Alright, let's see. Trying to find the turnaround. Okay. So you need to, still the same thing, right? Got to be able to line these up. Okay, we still got time. Get it in there. See how parts of it just aren't lining up? Okay, but oh, bottom of the chin. It's a good one. So you just gotta come in and make sure that it's right, and you have to look at anatomy of hands and stuff, right? Because like this one just stopped with the fingers. It's just an oven mitt. Right? And then with this one you just drew claws. They went like this. You can't do that. Okay? And she would definitely have more of a back. And even, you know, like, oh, she's really small and tiny. Even if she did, right, you'd have to give us a little bit more leg to support that butt. Okay. And one thing that you got to know about when you're drawing women is less lines, right? the more lines you draw, the more masculine the character looks. Okay. All right. Okay. It's an yep, there you go. Just wish there was more information, right? So that's how you draw it, right? But then, you know, there could have been something about her sleeves, right? Or high heels. High heels are always pointy, or just something to give us a little bit more information about the character. But as far as this goes, that's exactly how that should work. I mean, the only thing that you would put next is like the color version of it. So that's good. I guess this is the final illustration. The final illustration was supposed to be with the other character. And it seems like you have some things missing there, and then these changed color. Right? Because I think they're supposed to be black. Nope, they're gray. Okay, never mind. They're always that way. But so if you came in, and if you didn't make those jawbones so strong, you know, if you rounded them out just a little bit, it would give it also more of a feminine touch. But you want to try and start cutting down on the neck. Right, and then a little bit comes out. Collarbone. Right? Then the shoulder comes out. This comes out and over. Right? You just have too much. You have too much bulk going on for your character. Okay, so if you just shave down some of the parts of this character, they'd start looking a little bit more feminine. Oh, so when it comes to eyes, you don't draw every individual lash. Okay, so you come in, if you're like, here's my eye, right? Then you're like, all right, so mask. Oops. Come on. No, not T. Ugh. All right, so then you come in, you do that eyelid, right, and then you pull from that black line, and you're doing shapes, right? So you're doing these little little curves, and then filling them in, right? Because they're supposed to indicate all those lashes. And then you come in, right? However thick you want to make them, right? Because individual lashes just doesn't work unless you're doing realistic, right? You got to do super realistic, and as you're doing a cartoon character, it's not super realistic. Okay. It looks as though her hairline keeps receding as your drawings go forward. The hairline keeps moving further and further up. So you wanna make sure that you stay consistent. Like this one's really low, right? And then this one's really high. Okay, so you just want to stay consistent. Like if she has this widow's peak going on, that's perfectly fine, but you got to stay consistent. And since you're saying it's round, you know, since it goes all the way down to her chin, right? Because it's like an afro. So if it's going all the way down to her chin, when we turn, that afro doesn't just, you know, you have to turn quite far away for the afro to just kind of be like right here, right? And you're not really doing that. It's almost a profile when it starts cutting to this size. Okay? Yep, you're just gonna have to stay, you know, keep drawing, stay consistent with your anatomy. Right? Because this one, first, you know, the breast comes up into that shoulder. Right? It comes down, there's clavicle, comes here, shoulder comes out of that. Right, and you're not indicating, like, this breast got really big really fast. Right, or she got really short. Yeah, she got really short. And this is why, like, you should draw through your character. Right? Because if you draw through it, if you're not just trying to draw the final image, just the drawing, then you can see where your figure is starting to fall apart. Right? So she got really short really fast. Something you're trying to do there. This comes up. And this I can see as being fine. Alright. This would come up. Right? This hand needs to be bigger so that it looks like it's coming out into perspective. Because otherwise it's just a weird arm. Right? Then her head. So, yeah, just watch your proportions. And if you're gonna draw something like this, right, and you're like, oh, well, it covers, right, just go ahead and make it so that it actually covers. Don't just like, oh, it just barely covers the naughty bits, right? Just go ahead and, you know, we get it. And then this one would come out from here, or maybe. Right? Leave a little gap so we know. Something like that. Right? And don't, you gotta keep throwing that shoulder in there whether you want to or not. Right? Same thing with the trapezius. It's gotta go in there. Like I said, every time you turn this character, one breast gets gigantically huge. Okay. Okay. Make, like, a lot of these poses you can actually get reference from or for, which is something I would highly recommend, right? Because, you know, just being able to draw this in, and then she would pop back out over here, right? And that leg comes down. Right? So you need to give her a little bit more, and this shoulder would actually come out and probably overlap her face a little bit, the way you have it. And then this definitely would need to come out. This arm would need to come out a little bit further. That. Okay. But I mean, pretty consistent character. Can't even deny that. Like, the character is pretty consistent as far as the overall look and everything. I think by drawing this character a couple more, dozen times, you'd get a nice feel for the character. So, I mean, okay. Let's go ahead and clear some of this out so my computer doesn't have a heart attack. Any questions so far as we're going through these? Thumbnail coming out of nowhere. Alright, final PDF. Oh wait. That's right. Let's stop that. We need to download it. Tatiana, did you go ahead and upload it? I didn't check. I'm just making sure because you're coming up next. So, do you want me to skip you so you can upload it, or what's the word? No, we're still good there. Alright, so we're gonna use rotation, counterclockwise. Sorry, see, I'm like, oh, she's about to die. Image. Okay, it's wrestler, track star. Uh-oh. Onto one presentation. Okay. Cell phone. Just clicking through them real quick. Get them all going into the right direction. Okay. There's no turnaround. Is this supposed to be the turnaround? Ouch. I'm assuming that's the turnaround. We can see that that one's not done. But Donnell, the thing that you constantly like doing is doing a turnaround, then doing something in a different suit, and then doing something in a different suit, and which is what you're doing here again. So we got this, right? Talk about that in a minute, right? And then it's like, here's an array of different things that you're looking at. Like, hey, look, here's the different things, right? But that could be in the style sheet. Like, that would all be on the style sheet. What you're doing here is not, you're not helping the design, the animator, the 3D modeler, or anything going, this is this character, I know how to draw this person, right? You got to remember that that's the whole idea of doing these character designs, is going, here's one unified look. You know, here's the thing that we're going to see the most, right? This is what we're going to see the most, and therefore, this is what you need to draw, right? Because if this is not what you're going to draw, then we're going to be off model, and life is going to be horrible, and all that good stuff, right? So, once again, you have to draw the same outfit, same character, all right? Now, with that said, I know you were having some hard times and whatnot, but you know, we gotta keep some type of consistent face going on. She's in high school, try to switch it up from just one outfit. Nope, just like the last time, that's not what you're supposed to do. Now, if you were doing a style sheet and you're like, hey, throughout the series, these are the 6 outfits that we're going to see her in, fine. But we already know how to draw this character. We know the face shape. We know everything, right? But this character right here, like, there's a lot that's going on with this character that's just not right? So you really need to fix that. You have to watch the anatomy of the characters that you're trying to show, right? Like, if you were trying to go for something, I don't know, like, but it looks like you're trying to do something more, you know, humanistic, right? You're not taking any liberties with what you're doing, right? Like, that's the idea. But if that's the case, you need to give her, you know, regular human proportions, right? And that is one monstrous coffee cup. Right? But do you see that? Or should I use a different color? Just saying, like, do you see how her proportion, like, we shave, like, all of that would need to go. Right? All that needs to go. All of that. Right? So you could actually come in and see her shape. Okay? So, because they're, like, I can see on some parts, you know, like this one right here, it's kind of like, oh, well, I'm trying to do this animation style. But then, you know, you forgot her ear. She still needs some type of neck. Right? And her shoulders are gigantic. Right? So, gotta work on that anatomy, okay? Everyone's like, oh, I was half asleep. 8 weeks! You had 8 weeks. But like I said, I know crazy stuff has happened. Alright? But you gotta work on that anatomy. Okay. Also, the same face structure. Like, if you were to give this to me, and you're like, "Hey, I want you to draw this character," I wouldn't know how, because the face is so different. And here, you didn't give me a head. Like, this could be different people. Right? But you got you got good ones going on here, right? You're like, oh, look, I've got some really nice expressions on some of these, but on a lot of them, it's just different variations of the same thing, right? Screaming, scared, like confused screaming, right? Open mouth kiss. Open mouth, come here, I want to kiss. Right? So you're giving a lot of the same expressions. This is a different person altogether. Right? Look at that. Look at the shape of that face. Right? But it seems like this like this one is the one you had the most were the most comfortable with. This is the shape you should stick with, right? Like, I buy that one the most. And even this one, see this one, if you came up just a little bit further up and gave her more of a cheek, right? Completely understand that one too. That would be more like this one. But then this, right? Where's her cheeks? Right? You were drawing these big, like, I'm not going to say childish, but, you know, childish cheeks, these very round cheeks. And then it goes away because you gave her this square jaw, right? Or then this, her head becomes round. But it's clear that she has a chin, comes up, she has rounded cheeks, right? So then it comes up and then it's rounded, right? Not down here round. So you gotta stay consistent with what you're doing. That was not done. I'm assuming this is the sidekick. Definitely need to stay, whoops. You need to stay consistent, right? Ruler, look at that, just in the hair. 3 different lines because he's not lining up, right? You gotta stay consistent, otherwise these are useless, right? If I'm a 3D modeler, I can't use this. I'm gonna send it right back to you. With this though, right here, thing is that this wouldn't go back that far, even if you're like, all right, still got a butt, comes out, there's his back, right? Because he's standing straight up. Okay. He's standing straight up. The way you have it has him leaning forward. See it? Your guy's leaning forward. All of his weight is above his knees and toes. So he's actually leaning forward. Consistency, man. Gotta stay consistent. And I love the fact that, you know, you come in, you inked it, you colored it, all 3 of them, right? I just wish that you would have spent less time trying to make it like, ooh, look at how pretty this one is, and finish everything, and then come back and see what else you could finish, right? Because, I mean, these are nice. This is possibly a different guy. Probably round him out just a little bit. Right? You round him out. I believe him more. I believe him to be this guy who has a rounded face. Right? I don't think this one doesn't work because it's too his chin is not working the way that you've established it. Right? Round that out, and then you forgot, you know, really got to add that top part of his lip that you've thrown in there, or bring this one around a little bit. Right, there you go. See, it instantly starts looking more like your character because you've added the things that you've established are your character. Okay, but these are nice, you know, cleaned up, nice. Then where's that one? Then you did this, right? Spent a lot of time, even though you forgot the hands. Right? It's just, I'd rather you would have had everything penciled and inked, looking really nice, than having some of it colored and then some of it sketched and some of it missing and stuff like that. Although, the way you have this, with her screaming, she's dead. She did. He is about to tear her into bits. She, as far as, you know, proportion goes, if she stands up, she's gonna be towering over this guy. That's why I think that this guy has something to prove. So when he hits her, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad. But yeah, consistency. Right? All right, moving on. Wait, Tatiana, did you put it all into one? I was like, did you put it all into one? I forget. Nope. Wait. Any package 3 and 4. Any package 3 and 4. We're gonna move on. Let Tatiana come back to us. Story packet. Corbett. All right. I'm watching you on my phone because NSU Wi-Fi has been a mess, so I'm just waiting for it to submit. Okay. All right. Where are you at NSU? Thought they closed everything down. So I'll just wait, but if anything, we'll just look at what you already submitted. Put the story here, don't need the story. Okay. Who's this? That's not the ice guy. Sweets is still open? Oh. Oh. I didn't know that. I could have swore they closed everything down. I'm glad they still left you guys a place to stay. Missing a lot of stuff here. Do you know what happened? We're missing a lot of stuff. Action poses, okay. Your facial expressions, no action poses. Action poses, no facial expressions. Oh wait, there's some action. No, you did her facial expressions. All right, so your sound's not working. Dude. Can you hear me? Does anyone else not hear me? Because it says that it's working. It's been a long semester. Okay, so you guys can hear me. Okay. It's been a long semester. I understand. Alright. One big thing about this. You can't. You don't want to change the facial expressions as you're doing the turnarounds. Okay? You definitely want to keep those. You want to keep those together. Okay? And then you got to watch her anatomy, right? She's on a. I'm gonna use something different. She's on a profile, right? So if we have her on a profile, right? All of this stuff needs to go away, right? You got a 3/4 thing going on when she's not really 3/4 around, right? And so we wouldn't even see that other leg. Like that's absolutely not important, right? Her arms are super long. Okay. I like this facial expression though. It's just can't do that. Okay? And then this needs to move over a little bit because she's doing one of these like side things, like her head is over. Right? So her head's not on her neck, right? This is also a nice expression. One thing that you really need to do is actually come in here and give us this outline, because I could see where you're like cutting stuff out, you're erasing things from a different image or something like that. So the best thing you could have done was just come in here and give this an outline. Right? That would have helped you out a lot. And then of course it's not lining up. Right? Which is the absolute key to this. This whole project is about consistency. Our knees are all the way up here, right? Ankles, feet, right? It's all about consistency. And so if they're not consistent, like I said, you're going to give this to a 3D modeler or an animator, and they're just going to be like, I don't know what to do. Are they too tall or too short? Like, what is it? And then when you look at this character here, right? Like, look at how wide, like her back is huge, right? And then she's got this little itty bitty waist and these little hips, and her back and shoulder are gigantic, which is not, we don't get that here, right? Gotta stay consistent. And then also, like, these wedgies that you guys keep giving people, right? You should really stop that. You gotta give them a butt, because they have a butt. No wedgies. Right? Now these facial expressions are pretty good, right? I mean, you gotta work on like the head, right? And make sure that you give her the rest of the head so it doesn't look like, you know, part of it got hit with a brick. And then, you know, you gotta come in here and make these lines nice, right? You gotta one line, right? You gotta try and make it look like it was all one line, right? A little bit of shadow down here, you know, just a little bit of shadow gives it just a, you know, it makes it look just a little bit more realistic, right? But these expressions are nice. You gotta watch your coloring though, right? You got weird little halos going on. So you'd want to come in and fix that, you know, coloring outside the lines. But if you came in and took the time to really just clean this up, This would be a really nice facial expression sheet, right? Yep. Okay, so you have to give us an outline. Gotta give us an outline. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, like with this guy too, you know. You gotta come in there and give us that line, and it not be super thin, right? You gotta give us that outline. I gotta use a different color again because he's blue. Right? Give us that outline. And you have the same issue with this guy, right? Super jacked back, right? Super buff, and then regular buff, right? Gotta stay consistent. See, in this guy's profile, so this one stressed me out the most. Well, you're rushing it, right? You can just really just come in and clean. A lot of things about character design is convincing people that you know what you're doing, and if you just take the time to clean this up a little bit, right? Then all of a sudden it, you know, even if you don't have an outline, right? Because I can make it look like it's fine without an outline, right? But you gotta come in here and fix, you know, you gotta come in here and fix that. See, look at how much cleaner that leg looks, right? Just by coming in and trying to make it look there with all those weird lines that you had going on, right? With the little scritch marks where you're doing this. By just cleaning that up, it instantly looks more clean, more concise, like I know what I'm doing. And that's going to be what's important, right? And I'm assuming that this is supposed to be his crotch right there, but it's so high that it's actually like a pot belly. See, even in your drawing. So, I mean, his crotch would be down here. He's got a tiny chest. And this comes down, and then there you go. So, get rid of all of that. Probably give him a thicker arm or something too. And then pull this in a little bit. Okay, like that. Pull this in, arm. Right, something like that. Right? But I will go off on a limb and say that he's not lining up either, right? Oh, that one did. This one lines up better than the other one. Spoke too soon. Right? So you just got to stay consistent with these, because once again, same reason, okay? It's going to be the same reason all the time. And then he lost his face. No face. Right? And we had talked about this, and it seems like you weren't able to go back and actually put in some of the things that we had suggested. Because, I mean, just going off of what you've established beforehand, right? He should be a lot thicker. Right? You just got to stick. You got to pick a body shape and stick with it. Right? And then once again with this one, like I said, you know, he's kind of in a very weird position to twist that far around. Right, I really doubt that he's gonna twist that far, but if he was, right, you'd have to turn him. I mean, it's a very awkward pose to be in. But once again, this guy is not who you drew in your turnaround as far as the body goes. And what would help is if you drew out the shapes, right? Like the thing that you would have done or should have done for your style sheet, right? That would help you too if you're like, oh, well, he's more of a box here, right? Because he's got weird arm shapes. Okay? But and then reference. Reference. I mean, and this one's actually this one's not bad. It's just rushed. Like, it's a sketch, right? It's a color sketch. You know, and if you'd come in and was like, all right, well, here's his knee. Draw that out. Three-quarter view. Alright, and this, he's about to rear back and punch her in the face. Definitely have this hand be a lot bigger. Here. There. Yeah, you know, you're not supposed to be telling the teacher that. Even if the teacher can plainly see that you were rushing. Right, like this, I don't even know what you were planning on here, because there's no shape to that, so I have no idea what's happening. Right, I don't know what's going on there, so I can't help you with that pose. Right. And then what's really cool is if you had the ability to come in and thicken some of these lines up, right? And can even define him just a little bit more. Right? Just saying, like, there's a lot of stuff that could happen here. Comes up. Shoulder. But I mean, the main thing is that this is just not done. You know what I mean? That's all there's to that. It's just not done. So final. Why is this all not in one PDF? Okay, so you said this is your turnaround, but you're adding stuff to it with hand and expressions and stuff like that. So this is your style sheet. So you're combining stuff together. There's a lot of time spent on this wallet for a final image, but no turnaround. So, ooh, big. This person changes a lot. Like the head shape goes big and then thin and then squishes and then, you know, elongates. So this becomes a different person. And the thing is that you're doing something with the style. Like you need to pick a style, right? Because you towards the end you start doing that Rick and Morty lips thing, right? And it's not working, right? Because you haven't established that kind of world where you could do those kind of faces, right? So you got to kind of stick with one style of expression. Excuse me. And then, you know, you got some spaces where you kind of messed up. And then it's like, did he get a mustache? Not used to making males. Yeah, that happens. That's why I made sure to give you guys this kind of assignment, because everyone has their favorites, right? Everyone draws either females exclusively or males exclusively. And especially during college or in the beginning parts of your artistic career, that's what happens. And so I was like, no, you guys are going to all draw something different, right? Okay, so yeah, that's why, you know, you have so many pages of sketchbook that you're supposed to fill so that you can actually get through this instead of putting all that kind of like shading in there. And I have to say that it makes it look like cotton. So, and if he's wearing like a full-on jumpsuit, cotton jumpsuit, then fine. But it's just, I less need you to do all that kind of shading, and I need you more to focus on the anatomy and the head shape, making sure that all stays consistent, because each one of these people is different, right? They're different people. So, yeah, it definitely, if you would have spent some more time in your sketchbook going, all right, what does this character look like? Let me try and draw this person's head a couple times just to make sure that it all stays the same, right? That's what would have helped. Because then he wouldn't be really big, he wouldn't be really small, and he wouldn't be somewhere in the middle. And then he gets really small here. All right, and like super thins out here. Right, so we need to definitely stay consistent. Oh, that's the book. We definitely need to stay consistent as far as what are we expecting out of this character, right? And you did combine the turnaround with the style sheet. And this isn't consistent either. right? Like he's a lot higher, and then it goes down, and it goes down. Then he gets shorter because his feet come up. He's squished in this arm. Arms are usually in pocket, right? But you drew a plain arm. We don't ever really see we're not necessarily going to see a plain arm, so why would you draw a plain arm? Right? So, and then this should have been straight. He's 10 heads tall. This guy's a giant. Then again, I didn't read the description, so I don't know how tall he's supposed to be. But 10 heads tall, that's huge. But I don't know if he's actually 10 heads tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's more like 6 heads tall. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 4, 5, 6. Nah, about 7. About 7 heads tall. I think your circle started getting smaller as it went down. Actually, your first circle is not as big as his head in the first place. So, yeah. And you gotta watch your anatomy because he gets really thinned out here. Right? Like he has no trapezius muscle, like nothing, and it just goes neck, shoulder. So you gotta watch that. Okay? Consistency. That's what's going to be key here. And the final drawing was supposed to be with both characters. Let's see. Okay. See, I like the layout that you got going on here, but might as well have just drawn this a little bit bigger, right? Go ahead and give us the shape. Make it look a little bigger. So, and then making sure that head stays the same, right? Because here, this head is not that head, right? That head is not that head. You see how the chin changes? Right? So, gotta stay consistent. Gotta stay consistent. This head is, this is someone completely different than that. Based on the proportions, the face, positioning of the eyes, nose, and mouth, right? This person's black. This person is Latinx. Right? This person's black. But then these people change. Then it becomes someone different. So you got to stay consistent. You got to keep drawing this person. This was too hard. Nah. You just got to put the time in and draw it. Like, you could have filled up your entire sketchbook with them, which is what you should have done. Like, I didn't tell you that this is what you need to do with your sketchbook, but that's what you should have done, right? Draw your character so that you're like, I know this, right? I just uploaded that one for the details of the pants. Sketchbook video, I will look at that later. You're more than welcome to look at it on your own as well, but I will look at that later. And then we have Davin's extra character. I started with the face, now we spent more time. Save link as. Okay. Turnaround is trash. Well, it's a walking turnaround. You're trying these extra hard turnarounds, right? But the thing that you got to remember, front, side, back. It's always going to be front, side, back. Because we start with that. That's the image that you're supposed to base everything off of. So it's front, side, back. Okay? Always. Always, always, always. Front, side, back. And then just... Whoops. Making sure you stay consistent, right? I guess this shoulder is up here. Because this, if we turned him that way, this shoulder is supposed to be up here. This is supposed to be up there. Right, and just going by the front view. That's why it's always generally in the foreground. Making sure that everything lines up with that front view, because it's supposed to be what we know as the easiest, right? We're like, oh no, it's easier to draw the character from the front. So that means that all your proportions and whatnot should be from the front. Once again, something you're not supposed to be telling the teacher. Faces, like, it just seems like you're dying to tell some type of story. Like you want to write, you want to do some kind of manga or comic or something like that, and that's great, and I appreciate that, and I love how you're trying to do your action poses through comics, you know, through sequence, which is cool. But here's the thing: are these the facial expressions? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, is that supposed to be the facial expression? Is it supposed to be the action pose? Like, am I supposed to just look at the face for one and be like, okay, like for this guy right here, oops, brush, like this guy right here, am I supposed to be like, nope, I'm just focusing on the face right there, so that's the 4, and then we look at this, and that's that, you know, it's like, what am I supposed to be doing? But the character looks cool, you know, I buy him, pretty consistent. 4 for 1 deal. Yeah, it's not normally the way that works. But my big thing, Davin, is where's your actual final? Right? You gave us the extra character. Where's your final? And then I guess we're gonna have to look at Tatiana's this way since the Wi-Fi is being silly. Do we put both in one PDF? No. You don't. No, you don't have to. Some people have, and they just went, this is the final. But, you know, from what I can tell, all you turned in was the extra character. So, we almost done. Okay. That graphics thing, Tatiana, is still not working for you. I mean, it might be working for you, but it's not working. Right? You're trying to do these effects on top of your typography, and it's just not what you should do. Like, we don't need this weird like plastic glass thing that's radiating from green. Like I said, I honestly reload it. Reload what? Is this not it? Oh, you mean reload the page? Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. Got it. All right. Yeah. Okay. All in one. Good. So, still, with this one, I still believe that if you would have found like a spray can, graffiti font, it would have been that much easier, right? Because it just would have looked like you went, and that would have been it, right? Because think about, you could even have that as an animated graphic, right? So this comes in, and maybe it's just T-got, right? And then you have the little light that shines around, it's like, right? And then right before it's over, you have someone that's like graphics, right? And you're like, oh, nice. But right now, it should be both on there. They are. I got the Build-A-Bear. It's there too. But yeah, this weird like plastic glass thing with the green slime kind of hanging off of it. It's just weird. Like I wouldn't want to do anything because that's weird. It's not working, right? I would suggest that you stop trying to put some type of effect on your stuff and literally just use like a graffiti font, right? So that it blends together, looks nice. Use someone's graffiti font because that's what's gonna work. You have this very stark and clean metallic look, right? It's like bam, T-got, okay, fine, but then the graphics part is just not working so far. With the fire, it didn't work. With this, it's not working. So less effect font, right? Or trying to find a font and then putting an effect on it. Stop doing that, and then just use a font. Use a color, use one font, and then go from there. Okay, I still think that a graffiti font would work. You can still use the same colors. Like if you want to use the green, that's perfectly fine. But this is not working, especially with the drip. Like it's a weird drip. Kind of looks like slime or snot, and it's just the combination of the color and the drip. It's not working, right? But if you want to keep the color, that's fine. But just know that that kind of green is not necessarily friendly to the eye because we associate it to either toxic, like toxic waste, snot, or slime. So I don't know if that's where you'd want to go. Okay? Just something to keep in mind with your colors. And if this, because I see it here, like here, okay, I can see it here, like that's supposed to be the drip of the graffiti, right? You might need to use a different graffiti font. Like, don't just try and take the first one. Go around and search and look for something that's really striking and really works, right? And I don't think that this should be in graffiti, right? You don't want anyone to get confused about, an I being, an I instead of an L or a B or something like that. Like you don't want that, right? So this part should be nice, clean, and easy to read. Oops. Like this is weird too. Like the low, it's hard to read. Your logos, flyers, like that's like an 8, a 4, and an 8, right? This font's not working to tell us what you're trying to do unless it was bigger. Like I think it needs to be bigger. And you're going to want to start thinking about layout on things instead of just slapping it straight on. You're going to want to think about how can I make my logo or my graphics or my style stick out, right? How am I going to make it different instead of just going, here's my shirt, placed it right here in the middle, right? Here's my bag, right in the middle, right? Think about what you're going to do. Maybe it's the graphics and it spreads itself across and you tilt the T got, and you're just trying something to make it look more graphic, right? More interesting. You want to make sure that when people look at it, they want to come and be like, oh yeah, I want to work with this person. But if it's all just here in the, here's the corner, here it is here, and that's it, right? You got to give us more now, because especially now, graphic design is such a big thing now. You have to stand out above the rest. It's a big thing, okay? So push it. Build a bear. Okay. See, this is interesting. Like I buy this, right? If you're trying to make it interesting. It's weird, though, right? It's like sucking into the A. It's kind of weird. But you need to put something darker behind here, right? So the holes and stuff actually stick out. And it just seems like you're really pushing on this idea of putting an effect on font, right? And while this is interesting, I don't know of too many people who are going to be like, you know what? That's the font I want to use. All right, it's cute, it's clever. Like it might be a one shot, right? Like on a flyer, it's like, oh, that's cute. I just don't know if this is going to be the end, right? Where they're like, yes. But one thing that you do need to do is this drop shadow needs to probably be black or darker gray than this, so that it really highlights the separation between the cracks of like the E's, the A, the B, the R. You want to make sure that we can really read that. Because see, like right here, see how this is darker, and we can instantly read bear because it's darker, right? It's the same thing that would need to happen here, because it's not here. It's not dark enough here. It needs to be darker. Might want to try something different for this background here. Like I like the idea of the multiple bears, but maybe you could get away with just one bear, 2 bears, and then you need to stay consistent. Whatever it is, on one you have clouds, on the other one you have this multitude of bears. You want to make sure it stays consistent, and then you push that onto your envelope, right? Because you just got a plain white envelope instead of a blue envelope with all these little bears in a spot to put your address and stuff there, right? We want to think creatively and not just standard. Like these work, right? You got the watermark here. I buy this here. With this, okay, so this is an interesting idea, right? You have this blank bear, and then it's like build a bear. It's like, but you need to give a slogan. It's like, what bear will you build, or a bear waiting just for you, I don't know, something so that silhouette of a bear makes sense, right? When you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I get that. And this is going to be a shirt for a worker, right? So yeah, okay. You know what? Now I've got it. So this is the way that you have the Build-A-Bear thing. It's really for like an event. Like come customize your own special little friend, November 16th, something for the special, Thanksgiving bear or something like that. And literally, you know, you have this font and stuff that really works well for an event, but I don't think it's going to work really well for the actual logo, right? Because it's gimmicky, and that's the thing that's throwing me. It's gimmicky, right? So in build you have the wood, and then bear you have it in fur. Like, that's a gimmick, right? So you want to make sure that it's for something, and I think that would really work if someone came to you and was like, hey, we have this event that we're gonna throw, and we're really looking for something unique and something like that. This logo, this idea, or this header would be really good for that. Okay, but if it was going to be, hey, we're doing Build-A-Bear and we're rebranding Build-A-Bear, you would have to come up with something different, because, like I said, it's very gimmicky, right? And you don't want that, because if the gimmick dies, right, and you're like, okay, it's no longer cute, then they have to rebrand again. Like, you're going to try and want to do something that's timeless. That's the idea, right? That's the idea of graphic design, is to do something that's going to be timeless, that you can use for decades. Okay? Make sense? Right. Davin finally uploaded his stuff. Or some of it. We'll see here in a second. Yep, see? This is good. I buy every single bit of this. Right? Love the perspective you got going on here. That's really cool. Right? Style you have is working, right? So it's like, oh, it's sketchy, but you can tell that this was done on purpose, right? And so this is really working. Like, I buy this. This is nice. Three-point turnaround, which still has the same issues that you had beforehand, right? That we talked about, that you would have needed to fix. Like, this guy is a whole lot bigger than this guy and this guy. This one is the shortest person, right? But you're trying this very nice perspective thing, but it has its anatomy issues, right? But we talked about this. Don't do this, right? If you're going to do a color key, put it off to the side. Don't just randomly throw it in places. It doesn't look like you actually put it together, right? You're just like, oh, here. And then you have some of them that are diamonds and some of them are blobs. Like, just go ahead and make sure that you look at that and go, this is what I'm trying to do, right? I really want this to work, all right? Because it takes away from everything that you're putting in, the effort that you're doing for, like, doing this perspective shot, doing the turnaround, you know, trying to establish this character, and then we just go so, you know, give yourself a little bit more and then put that here. Forgot to turn the layer off. Files are struggling to upload. That's why you should burp. And do you have more? I mean, because you should have uploaded it beforehand. Let me reload it. Alright, we saw these. Right, because we saw these, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, help me. Stuff's over there. There's my cat. Get my cat. Right. So we saw these. I mean, you know, it seems as though you're... That it was part of the drawing, right? So you know, we saw these, and I like this, you know, watercolory effect thing that you got going on here. But we talked about all the issues that were here, the inconsistency of the watercolor stuff, you know. So we talked about all this last class, I believe. So, you know, same things are still valid. But I do kind of like your storytelling, but the problem is that, you know, you got to make sure that how we read it, right? Got to lay it out so that we read it the way you want us to. Do. Female, turn around. This is a JPEG. Still, I mean, we talked about this one too, same issues. But the big issue now that I see with this person is that she's a lot squatter than the person that you drew in all your action poses. Right? So you got to stay consistent. You got this nice turnaround, you got all this stuff going on, but we got to make sure that you stay super consistent with what you're doing as far as how wide she is, how long she is, how, you know, everything that you're doing about that is about consistency, right? Because if I get this and then I'm like, all right, and I design it and they're like, hey, but it's supposed to look like this character who's a lot longer, that's a problem, right? And that problem comes and boils down to you, the designer, not being consistent. Okay, so you got to make sure that that stays the same, and of course, you know, the height, everything lining up, right? You still have issues with that. You got to make sure that that stays the same, and you are, I'll repeat, you are doing this all digitally, so there's really no reason for it to not line up, because you can just bring down those guidelines, right? So stuff just keeps it coming. Let's see what we got now. Nope. Davin, do you have anything else? Because you're missing facial expressions. Facial expressions, accessories. The final image with them together. Davin, you still with us? No, I forgot and did the third. All right, well. So I mean that's it. You have until, all the people who still need to do sketchbooks, you have until the end of today to get your sketchbooks in. Okay, but we had a lot of good stuff. The photographers came through and really nailed it. Stefan, you know, you put together some great stuff, and even though you thought you had to do one, and I threw at midterms like, no, you got to do more, you knocked out 3 more. So that was really good, on top of doing your final review and stuff like that. So kudos to you. For my character designers, it seems like you guys were really struggling, and I don't know what it was that you were struggling with. Like I said, you had a lot of time, 8 weeks to do it. I know that character design is not the class that is actually in the major, so you were jumping in and doing something new from the get-go, but most of you were like, this is what I want to do. So with that said, you know, every week we needed to hear something. Should have been drawing more, but I mean, I don't know. There's some of you just didn't finish. You know, like you didn't finish. There wasn't a, hey, look, you know, this is what's going on. And I know that we have this pandemic that's happening. You know, I get that. I do. I do. Okay. There's a lot of leniency that's being given, but to just not do it makes it hard, right? As a teacher on my end, it's like, look, you had to at least get something in, right? See, I scribbled this. At least I scribbled this. So here's this, here's that. But you know, if you don't turn in anything, there's nothing I can do about that, right? So it's like, what's up? You know, like, what do you want? What do you guys want? Right? And a lot of you had the same issues last in the midterm, and that's why we had to do a redemption project so that we could count that. Right? So that's pretty tough. You know, we're definitely in a hard spot. I know that we are, you know, we have until the end of today to do your sketchbook. Now, the thing is that I can, because I know that those people who are like, I need to do this redemption project, you did it. But if you want, okay, I can give this to you and go, look, you have until the end of today to get all the stuff in that you're missing. Okay? I can do that because we're in a pandemic. People are getting sick. Like, you know, life is all over the place. But you gotta give me something. Right? And you gotta... Don't think that just because you scribbled something doesn't mean you're not gonna get graded. Right? If you take this and you're like, I did this, and you don't... A, you don't have the redemption project done. And B, you don't turn in what you forgot to do last time, and C, you're like, oh, I put in some effort. Like, if you don't put in any effort, but you're like, I pooped out the last thing that I needed, you're still gonna get graded. So, you know, I can give you got pretty much 12 hours, right? Because it ends at midnight. So I can give you that for those people who are like, I didn't finish, right? Solely because we are in this pandemic and things are getting hard and tough to do. If there's anything you guys want to fix it. If there's stuff that you're missing, get it in. If you didn't do the redemption project, you need to do it. Otherwise, you won't actually be able to turn anything in. Okay? So there it is. That's what I have for you. If you can't get it in, you're going to be graded accordingly. Okay? So that's my olive branch to you because we're stuck in such a horrible situation. Okay? Any questions? Thoughts? Comments? Concerns? We'll leave it on this one. What's the redemption project again? Sidekick character, 3-point turnaround, 4 facial expressions, 1 action pose. Are we to submit the files again, or can we just leave them in the discussion? Nope, we're just going to leave everything in the discussion board. It's not any more work for you, it's more work for me. Because I didn't set it up, I'm just going to have 2 screens open, look, grade, okay? So no, if you've submitted it into the discussion board, you are good to go. I will grade you from there. Also, I know that people are like, hey, you should tell people before now or before then. I still need to know if you want to do pass-fail. Okay? Or not pass-fail. Everyone's doing pass-fail. It's if you want traditional grades or not. All right? If you haven't told me yet, send me an email stating I want traditional grades. Okay? If you send me nothing, I'm just going to assume that you just want the pass-fail. All right? And yes, you can still fail. Just because this is happening, just because we're in this situation, does not mean that you cannot fail this class. Yes, you can fail this class. Are there any other questions? Ooh. Before I... oh, excuse me. Before I, say goodbye to everybody. Let's see. I am still having trouble with the video. Did you? Are you at NSU? Like, are you at NSU? Is that what's happening? Just curious. Because if you upload it, like I said, if you upload it to YouTube or you upload it to Vimeo or Dailymotion, it's all going to be, the same. So I don't know what's happening as far as your video goes. Because one thing you could do also if you have YouTube is to just film it live, right? You just go to YouTube, go film live, flip through it, right? Have any commentary, right? Flip through it, and then when you let go and be like, all right, I'm cool, I'm done, excuse me, it saves it to your channel, and then you can send the link after that. No, I'm at home. It could. What's it saying? Like, what is the problem that it's saying? Okay. And did you want me to resend it as a PDF altogether? Yes, please. Ooh. Please send it all as one PDF together when I go back to look at it. That'd be great. So should we put the new files under our thread, because I wanted to add both of my main characters together? Reload everything as one PDF. It won't let me upload it as a PDF. Wait. I'm confused. It's like it won't let you upload all your files as a PDF? Is that what you're saying? It won't upload all your files as a PDF? You gotta save it as a PDF. You do not have to do a video of the sketchbook. You can make it a PDF. Just remember that if you took a billion pictures at super HD and your PDF comes in at like 5 gigs, Blackboard's gonna be like, yeah, no. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You want to make sure that it's not this huge thing. You want to make sure that it's a relatively decent size. But no, you can make it as a PDF and send that. No, I'm at home. How long do we have? How long do we have to fix anything? You have until 11:59 tonight. So you have exactly 12 hours and 5 minutes. Once it strikes tomorrow, whatever you haven't turned in won't count. It's just all there is to that. I think it might be the file, so I'm going to try to go in and fix it. Okay. Any other questions? Comments? Now's the time, because I have a full day today of classes and final reviews and stuff, so you can't actually come into my other class and be like, hey, Professor Tillman, I gotta quit. Nope, because I'll be doing finals all day today until like 9 o'clock tonight. So now's your time. Now's the time to ask. How do we make a PDF again? Alright, so wherever your files are, right, you go, I'm going to select, right, right click, combine supported files in Acrobat. It does this, right, tells you, are these the ones that you want? You're like, oh yeah, well, no, actually I want this one up here. Oh wait, yeah, I want that one down. Right, and you can move them around. I want this one, I want to move that up, right? And then you hit combine files, and then it uploads a PDF file, right? Like this. Combine files. And then it does this, right? Calls it binder1 PDF. You go to file, save, call it something, save it to wherever you want to save it, right? Desktop, thumb drive, whatever. Hit save, done. Okay, whatever you're gonna redo, that's fine. It's on you. You have 12 hours and 2 minutes. Anyone else? All good until you leave, probably. Probably. Well, I'm like, I'm gonna give it a little bit, listen to her chill music, right? Okay, last question. Style sheet. Style sheet, facial expressions, 3-point turnaround, action poses. Action poses. And it was like action poses and accessory. You need to draw out their accessory. You're supposed to do a turnaround of the accessory. Yep, so the full thing, style sheet, facial expression, 3-point turnaround, accessory, action poses. So what was I missing? Do. Antagonist, so I should still have that. Alright. Action poses. Facial expressions. There's your accessory. What says the style sheet. Turn around. Final pose. I mean, missing? What are you missing? Nothing. Yeah. Sure. Sure you can. Don't forget your sketchbook. Sketchbook also due at 11:59 today. And if memory serves me right, none of you guys had your sketchbook done. That's right, Mo. Never forget your sketchbook. Don't let your grade get destroyed because you forgot to turn in your sketchbook. All right. Anyone else? I learned the hard way. Yeah, you did, Mo. It's all right. As long as you learned. As long as you learned. Got real silent really quick. We good? Save often the hard way. Yep. Always remember to save. But see, now you don't even have to do that. Photoshop itself, you gotta set it up though. Photoshop now will allow you, it just saves for you. Right? You can set up the intervals, you can do everything and it'll save up for you. The most you could lose is like 10 minutes, I think, if you set it up for that, but I think you can set it to save like every 2 or 3 minutes. Which I'm sure will get annoying. Because when you're drawing and then all of a sudden you can't do anything because it's saving. So that's why it sets for every like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. So, but, you know, every 10 to 15 minutes is a lot different than, holy crap, I just lost 4 hours of work. So I'm just going to assume that all of my students are just good because they haven't said anything in a while. So either they're just like, oh, he'll keep talking I'm going to start working. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that right now everyone at this point is just busting their butt. Going, I need to finish some stuff so I can save my grade. And I know this is going to be a weird statement, but they're going, man, I'm counting my blessings that there's this pandemic and he's giving me, he's giving me this olive branch. So I'm going to ask one more time, just to be safe. Don't want to leave with someone's like, but I had a question. Don't want to leave just randomly, okay? Are there any other questions about what needs to happen before it turns into, what are we on? Thursday. So before it turns into Thursday. $200 megabyte sketchbook. I'm pretty sure that Blackboard is going to be thrilled about that, but it's all good. You can also pare it down. I don't know how you have it, right? But you could set an action and shrink it down so that the size isn't that big. Or I think you can actually save it for the web if it's too big, right? And then Acrobat will try and shrink it down some more. But 200 is not horrible. 50 faces or 25 faces? Just 25 per character. Yep. As far as Photoshop, yep, they did add it. I was streaming one day. So I was instructed because I was working and I got into it and I was working. And I didn't save. And for some reason the computer at work was having some crazy issues with like the scratch disk. And this is when I learned about scratch disks and I don't know why, for some reason I had plenty of space, but it was like, nope, scratch disk is full. And so I kept working, and then, I was like, all right, I delete this. I did something, did that. And then all of a sudden, my computer froze, right? Photoshop froze. And so it was like, oh, well, poop. I don't think I saved. So when I closed it down, I didn't, all right? I didn't save. And I'm like, yep, see, happens to everybody. Didn't save, and then people were like, oh, okay, this is how you're going to fix your scratch disk. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then one person was like, didn't you put on, isn't Photoshop saving it? I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, yeah, you got to go into preferences. And they sent me a link, and there it was, bright as day. You just got to turn it on. It's like one button. You just got to know where it is, right? But it's literally, you go to it, and then it's like, click on or off. Two buttons if you want to set it to a certain thing. So yeah. Tatiana's fixing work. Yep. That's what I'm assuming. Like I said, I'm assuming that everyone's like, I'm going to work. All right. Well, in that case, everyone's working. Seems like all the questions are being answered. Good to go for now. All right. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you guys for coming to the final class, for participating in the discussion group or the discussion board, trying to get you guys through this and whatnot. I understand that it was pandemic, but you guys are doing your work. Get everything in, right? Because you guys know me. You know me. If we were sitting at NSU right now, everyone who didn't have anything would fail. You know that, right? You know that because of midterms. So you know that. So count your blessings in whatever crappy situation we are in right now, that you have the opportunity to finish everything so you can actually pass this class. Okay? I want you to pass. Okay? But I can't just let you pass just because. Okay? You got to do the work. All right? So for those of you who have finished everything, if you're like, I'm good, I'm great, fantastic, don't stress. go out, have a drink if you're old enough. You know, eat some pizza, do whatever it is that makes you happy. Enjoy the fact that this is the end of the semester. You've made it through. Take a breather, right? Once you're done, take a breather, take a couple days, and then get back to work, right? Don't let the summer just come in and you do absolutely nothing, especially since you're stuck at work. I mean, it's stuck at home, okay? Make sure you get back to work, do some work, get productive, get better, make sure that you are going to be one of the best, okay? But like I said, thank you guys so very much. I hope you enjoyed this class or learned something from this class. And I will see you when I see you. Some of you guys are graduating. And for those of you who are graduating, congratulations on graduating. I wish you the best. Don't be a stranger. You have my email. Stay in contact. Okay? For those of you who still have to come back next semester, I'll see you next semester. All right. Take care.